Welcome back, everybody. Today we're gonna talk about how to micromanage occupation laws, which is much more fun and much more powerful than it sounds. And I think everyone is aware that you can change the laws for your occupied territory. You can go for brutal oppression if you really want to crack down on the resistance. Harsh quotas for factories. This is for resources. This gives you less resistance without the damage of brutal oppression. You can get some manpower and so forth. There's a lot of different choices, but you don't need to choose the same thing for every country and for every state. So if you push this button, if you go for France as an example, we can get every state and actually micromanage them. And usually it's sorted by name, which doesn't give you anything. I always sort by economy, because if you sort by economy, you can start to think about what should I do to get most industry without having too much of resistance. So first of all, in France, 10 factories. We want those 10 factories, absolutely. So we will go for harsh quotas and gain the maximum amount of industry as quickly as possible. And you see here, just from changing here, we get 4% more industry from the entire nation just going for Ile-de-France. We can be pretty sure that center will also give us quite a lot. And we can move down here. If we're going for harsh quotas for everything, we would be at 50%. I can show that, 49 at least. But that's not what we're going for. So harsh quotas going up pretty quickly. Seems to be interesting still. We can go and look at Loire. What do we have here? We have 4 factories. Yeah, might still be worth it. Let's go down a little bit longer. We can look at Languedoc. 2 factories. Perhaps not even worth it anymore to go for harsh quotas if we don't want to. We have taken 44% of 49 possible, and perhaps let's just make this not take as much damage, not need as much garrisons, and just have a martial law and make sure the resistance is as low as possible. And if you don't want to hear me ramble about the channel, please skip this chapter, because that's a reason we have chapters. If you want to hear me ramble, we release 1 new guide every Monday. We also release 1 new guide every second Thursday for our Patreons. We have a huge library on YouTube and a huge library on Patreon with a lot of guides. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel at least. And if you want even more, check out our Patreon page, where you gain access to multiplayer saves. You can gain access to Discord and a lot of things. So check it out if you for some strange reason want even more from us. And I hope you have skipped this, so you didn't need to hear me ramble. But if you haven't, we're gonna continue with the guide. But industry is not everything. You might think so, and I probably think so, but there's other things you want to, like resources. So you can also check out the resource map mode and see, is there any of these states that has a lot of resources that I want? And we see the aluminium here, or aluminum, 115. We can't get everything out of there because of our harsh quotas. And this might be a trade-off. If we really need the aluminium, why not go for forced labor, giving us 40% extra resources, and bam, we went from 40 to 86 in aluminium. I use both. And that's France, but you also have a lot of other interesting places if you take France. If you get Vietnam as an example, let's go there. We can see here that Vietnam has 2 factories. Not really needing to try to extract that, but we have a lot of resources. Look at the resource map mode. And we see that the resources are down here, 62 in the rubber. We start with 92. We don't get everything because we have a military governor giving us a little bit more resources. So 62, why not having more resources just there? Forced labor, 90 instead. And you have extracted exactly what you want from that place. We can also see that this is a state with a lot of recruitable population. We have some resources here. That's perhaps not the thing we want most. So military governor with 8% extra manpower might be the best way to go. We want the manpower. There's a little bit of industry. not much, and a little bit of perhaps tungsten is something we want, but still this could be a feeding ground for actual population and manpower that we want. And this is not as tedious as you might think it is. We have been spending 3 minutes, and this is me even explaining how to do it. And if we go for, let's say, we have the Soviet Union here, which is huge. Where can we find the Soviet Union? Oh, I think it's so much smaller there. Hello. There you are. As you see here, we take 25% of their factories right now. We probably want factories most of all, and we want some oil. The first thing is that we know where the oil is, usually. Most people do. Resources, we have the oil down here. That's gonna be our oil feeding ground. Otherwise, why not try to take harsh quotas on the Soviet Union? We get 50%. We don't want harsh quotas here, because here we want the oil instead. And we can go for forced labor to make sure we get as much oil as possible out of this province. The thing is, we have a lot of provinces here in the Soviet Union. We have not that much or great with resources, and doesn't have any industry at all here. So what we can do here is just go in here again. See, we have the economy sorting. We don't go by name, we go by economy. Now I have been cheating a little bit, because I checked out where we start losing industry here. From there on, there's not really any industry left. See, I think it was a little bit over here. I think Chernigov was one of the last ones without industry. And was it even further? Vladivostok should have some industry, yeah. So you can just find somewhere where the industry starts to thin out. And yes, don't take too much into it. Just, yeah, go for martial law, make sure that resistance are low. And yes, with the Soviet Union, it will take a while, because there are so many. Might be better to actually just go for martial law for everything, and then harsh quota all the way down here. So the most tedious work is for the Soviet Union. But you see, we go up pretty quickly. It will take you a few minutes to occupy this huge territory. But it will be well worth it when you've gone through it. And as I said, Soviet Union is the most tedious one. I would still say it's worth it, because you don't need to spend that as many people oppressing without any need of it. And the really important thing, this is just switching this from 53 going to 88 with almost nothing at all, not a lot of work. And two things that you really need to think about when you're doing this, no matter what you're doing: make sure that the resistance target in every state don't go over 25, and absolutely never over 25. That's why I would won't recommend civilian oversight. Yeah, you will build compliance, but this will really hurt you if you go up to 53, and it will spread. So go rather for martial law, I would say. And finally, I made a guide under 10 minutes. This has been my goal for a long time. Neither me nor Badger has been really good at this. So yeah, I'm not gonna drag this out any longer, and I will see you guys next time.